Justice Minister Ronald Lamola is vowing to bring back the Gupta brothers. He was speaking during an urgent debate in Parliament sponsored by the Good Party. Lamola says the United Arab Emirates is obliged to charge Rajesh and Atul Gupta with money laundering. And legal analyst Mpumelelo Zigalala joins us via Zoom. Good morning to you, Mpumelelo, and thank you so much for joining us. How confident are you that indeed we'll see the extradition, a successful extradition of the Gupta brothers this time around?
Well, that depends on the type and the manner with the information which has been submitted as part of the application to the UAE. Now, what the UAE is seeking for is basically saying, give us all the information that gives us an impression that these individuals are indeed guilty, and where they link when it comes to the element of criminality that has taken place or that you've alleged has taken place. Secondly, give us the assurance that when they are being prosecuted, it's going to be done in an inhumane manner, in a manner in which is in line with the rules of natural justice, that we provided with legal representation, for example, and everything that's going to happen in that particular courtroom is going to be fair and square. And then lastly, if they are given a sentence, that particular sentence is not going to be a death sentence, which we know in South Africa which does not apply to us. So that particular assurance or ticking that part of the box is going to be easy. The hardest part is the first one of saying, this is the information that we have against the Guptas. This is how they link to elements of criminality that have taken place. And this is the evidence in which we are going to use at court when we are prosecuting them. Now, this basically means it's a trial within a trial, for example. You need to bring all the A-game evidence, which will absolutely make sure that you can secure a conviction of an individual and be able to convince the United Emirates courts first before you do that in South Africa.
But we've been here before, and the UAE courts have dismissed an extradition application. And maybe if you were just to refresh our memory as to why or how that was bungled up.
Firstly, let's start by saying, by the time we even started to have an extradition treaty with the UAE, I think it was in July 2021. That's when the signature of the minister then came in. So there was no document which governed how we get individuals from the UAE to South Africa. Secondly, another bungle up that took place is that I do not think we submitted enough information or adequate information when they went to the UAE. So the UAE then came back and said, but, we can also be able to prosecute these crimes because you're alleging that part of it actually took place within our jurisdiction. So why should we hand over these individuals to you guys when you can do the same and you can be part and parcel of whatever allegations that you are coming with? But most importantly, you're not giving us tangible information that says this is what links the Gupta brothers to whatever criminality that is taking place in South Africa. Hence, this is why we want them to come back so that they can be prosecuted in this particular court. So show us the uniqueness of why they need to be tried in South Africa, and then we'll hand them back to you. If you are failing to convince us as to why you need to do that, then you are not going to agree on this one. So it is basically a second attempt, or trying to take a second bite at the cherry. But maybe this time, more effort, more information, and more vigor is going to be put into this application. But if you don't have the core or the merits of the matter in terms of saying, this is why we want them, this is what they committed, it is there in black and white, and in South Africa it is a criminal act. This is why we want them to come back to South Africa so that you can be able to try them.
Can we believe the Justice Minister when he says all legal diplomatic processes were followed adequately with the initial application for the extradition of the Gupta brothers?
Even though I do not have solid evidence, I do not believe so. If it was, then we wouldn't have where we are today, where we are making a second attempt or a second application. I think it may have been a situation of the ministry or the powers of being saying that, well, this is just a normal extradition application. We're going to submit whatever that we have. There's no effort which is going to be put in, and hence the response that we got. Because the UAE is simply saying to us, the information that you submitted to me is not adequate enough. Show me the wrongdoing or the alleged wrongdoing of the person that you are seeking for. I must remind them, by the way, that they must have received citizenship within the UAE. So they're going to say, we're not going to let one of our own go to a country, South Africa, to be tried there without adequate information being provided. So go there as if you are trying, you are going for the trial, the actual trial, and provide as much information as possible, even if it means that all the witnesses in which we are going to line up in South Africa have to be flown in to show or to give evidence within the UAE court and show the elements of what links the Gupta brothers to those elements of criminality. Do that so that you are able to secure them coming back. If you fail to do so, then I don't think this particular application is going to be successful.
And what's your view? I mean, there's civil organizations such as Open Secrets that are of the view that there is no political will. There is simply no appetite to have the Gupta brothers extradited purely because they are likely to open another Pandora's box and possibly lead to other prosecutions or investigations of those in the echelons of power.
I think it's only a matter, it's just the ministry which maybe on the first attempt fails to get it right. Maybe this time they'll do so. But most importantly, let's take a step back and say, the Zondo Commission or the State Capture Commission started a long time ago. The one important question for me would be, what were the law enforcement agencies doing then while that particular information was coming through? The NPA then, as the time lapsed, was able to sit in the commission and be able to absorb information as it came about. What did it do when information linking the Gupta brothers started to come in? You knew that they were not in South Africa, so you should have started at that particular point in time to gather up all the evidence to be able to prove whatever that is there. So when it comes to the slow pace in which our government or law enforcement agencies have moved in making sure that they secure their attendance, then I would say maybe there's no political will or even will from the law enforcement agencies to be part and parcel of this. They can't simply explain one factor. Why did it take so much time in order for you to extradite or to even lay charges against the Gupta brothers? And why did it take so much time for you to even initiate those extradition proceedings? The treaty that we have now that we are using was only signed in 2021. When did they go to aid? When did you know that they're going to be there? And probably extradition proceedings will have to start. So when it comes to the active participation or the active securing of those brothers to come back to South Africa, that's another thing in which we must then concentrate on. But with that being aside, concentrate on the merits of the matter in which they're being accused. I think the UIA will only ask one question: what have they done wrong? And you must provide a very comprehensive answer with technical support, with expert support, and tangible evidence that says, in South Africa, this is a contravention if you've done so. This is the active participation. This is the type of evidence that we have. Even expert evidence are supporting us. Hence, they have a case to answer in. And there's a conviction in which we may be able to get. We need to get them to South Africa so that they're able to answer. If you don't have all of those, then it means all these attempts and the money in which we're spending, which is taxpayers' money, by the way, will go to waste.
All right, thank you so much. Indeed, that's legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala reflecting on the parliamentary debate that will be taking place on the extradition of Atul and Rajesh Gupta. And this is the second attempt by the Department of Justice to extradite the brothers.